Imagine a game so good, a work where the stars aligned so perfectly that everything wrong with it, the awkwardness, the clunkiness, the unintuitive and outright bad controls, all somehow work to its favour. A game so utterly phenomenal that nobody can talk about it without sounding like the most pretentious idiot in the world. The exemplary piece in why games are their own unique art form that you should take seriously. Art so strong that despite decades of the very company that published it doing everything in its power to tarnish the series, its reputation remains untouched. Now imagine for a second, instead, if it was bad. Silent Hill 2 is a game that I have never wanted a remake for. It's a uniquely unremakeable game. Part of its strength lies within its age. But even if you remove that from the equation, the core of it isn't in the gameplay, not necessarily. Other games you can remake and still have them feel like the original, have it take on the spirit, but not Silent Hill 2. Everything about it needs to be that way, or the pieces fall apart. Yet, it's happening anyway. So, let's check it out. Maybe they've done the impossible. And yeah, that was great doing action trailer. How awesome is that? Step right up. Get ready on October 8th for James Kennedy's Wild Monster Town ride. In this crazy new action and psychological horror game, James has to go to the mysterious misty town of Science Hill on his way to rescue the president's daughter. They heard all the criticism of James' new design and responded by, I guess, making him Leon Kennedy? I mean, people love Leon, they'll love our guy too. You see, that's what this is about. Emulating. That's what the developers' Bloober team does. They've been making shameless PT Silent Hill clones like forever now. Who better to steal than them? It's clear from just having eyes that the Silent Hill 2 remake is trying to mimic the success of the Resident Evil remakes, but doing it in the worst way possible. What made these remakes so good is that they got to the core of Resident Evil and were able to make something fresh out of it. To truly emulate these games, you'd have to drill down into what makes Silent Hill, not just directly copy the Resident Evil games. You know, there was a time when Resident Evil tried copying Silent Hill. They acknowledged that it was simply the scarier series and briefly tried their hand at that style of horror, and it didn't work. Also, there were technical problems, but I digress. It didn't work so hard that they went as far from Silent Hill as you could possibly get, instead making a game about a blonde man with a cool jacket who goes to a small misty town full of unspeakable horrors just to find a woman. Wait a second. Then again, when Resident Evil 7 clearly took inspiration from PT. To see Silent Hill not only spinelessly copy, and I say this with love, the lesser franchise, but do so under the title of a monumental work is simply just insulting. The series was essentially dead for years, the last glimmer of hope shot in cold blood by an uncaring, abusive, evil company. They were pretty content with it staying dead, but hey, looks like the nostalgia cycle has finally rolled around to the 2000s. Time to dig up an old grave. Look, I shouldn't be mad that they're reviving one of my favourite series and announcing countless different projects. This is unheard of. All this Silent Hill out of nowhere? I mean, I'm sure they're going great. Oh god, what the fuck? In preparation for this video, I finally played the short message, just to see what the future holds for this series, and was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting the absolute worst, and the opening truly made me think that. I was fully anticipating a 2010s coded phone bad, actually. Faux social commentary we've heard millions of times by now, but thankfully, it isn't really about that at all. Sure, you use a phone, but bar a few pieces of text and some social media posts, the short message is way more about loneliness, suicide, guilt, and abuse more than anything else, where protagonist Anita has to learn that she's not actually a worthless sack of shit, that despite everything, despite her mistakes, she is loved and cared about and can reach out for help instead of flinging herself off the top of a giant concrete nightmare complex 3 times. Twee and ham-fisted for sure, but nowhere near as bad as I thought. Though there were some points that felt unfittingly dark in this game that is clearly supposed to uplift. The depiction of self-harm felt off, it's never really brought up again, and of course, the description of the mother killing her child and hiding his body in the fridge, followed by the fridge opening to show a mouldy baby doll felt... ugh. But I don't hate this game, but is it Silent Hill? Polygon thinks so. Not many other people do. For instance, Mark Delaney's review for GameSpot seemed more upset that the game isn't PT than anything else, which I think is deeply unfair. The focus of PT was to be extremely mysterious and petrifying, and it succeeds greatly. It was a playable teaser for a much bigger project, while the short message is, well, here to deliver a message in a short time. But hey, it's first person and has loops, so PT, that's what it's trying to be, but it fails, so fuck you, fuck the game. So far, the recent Silent Hill projects have been questionable at best. But I mean, Silent Hill 2. As long as they don't stray far away from the original, it should retain that magic, right? There's still time to fix it. They're clearly listening, that's why they changed James, right? I still think that a re-release is the best course of action. How could they fuck that up?
Hey, so we got the files you sent over for the remaster, but they're mostly empty. Yeah, we lost them. You what? Okay, can you find them? No. How are we supposed to make a remaster without the files we're supposed to be remastering? It's like, just I do it, it'll be grand. Sure, you got Troy Baker on this shit? He's James now. The Saints robots? Dude, I don't think that's gonna work. Whatever. Can you please send on the files? Oh, he hung up.
The notoriously bad Silent Hill HD collection is exactly why you should be nervous about this sort of thing. Do I even have to talk about the Comic Sans, or has that been done enough already? Look, this has happened to me before. Ocarina of Time is one of my favourite games of all time. The game has stuck with me for so many years. And when it got a 3DS remake, something felt off. It was phenomenal. Everything you could possibly want from a remake. Okay, well, if everything you wanted from a remake meant it would be trapped on 3DS hardware, but I digress. However, something was off. Despite the sheer attention to detail and love in every room of the game, still something was wrong. It was heavily censored. I'm not someone who needs dark stuff to take a game seriously, but I cannot deny that the rawness of the imagery was potent. Under the Well is this perfect moment where the darkness of it matters. I talk more on this in my Ocarina of Time video, which please watch the video. So when it came time to do Majora's Mask, my favourite thing ever, I was skeptical. But then I remembered. Majora's Mask doesn't need blood and torture devices to be dark. It's more subtle, more sophisticated. So what could you even censor? It's like a much tamer version of what happened with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a movie that put everything on its oppressive atmosphere, so much so that censors couldn't actually find anything to take out, yet still found it to be too much. So you censor everything. You take out that oppressive atmosphere, you make everything safe and familiar, down to the way you move. Neutering everything experimental and weird, making it just another generic Zelda game. Clocktown is clean, there's no dirt, no grime, it's not gross or uncomfortable anymore. It's a Zelda town. It's bright and unsubtle. The Third Day Sky is a perfect example of Majora's Mask's subtle surrealism. The sky is an unnatural green, but in a way that feels natural. Not in 3D. Same with the night. It's the end. The world is on its last legs, with an uncaring hunk of rock about to destroy it. The sky is painted with a faint red close to the land, implying the rise of a sun that the people will never see. Of course, it still comes up. Once Terminus is destroyed, the sun will still shine, just over a desolate land. And of course, that haunting music. You know what's coming. You're well aware. Despite some residents really trying, there's no denying it anymore, and that beautiful sky goes a long way in creating that atmosphere. Red sky for bad day, bad thing happened, people sad and danger. You know, this nearly happened to me twice. I've omitted something. Previously I talked about how the Resident Evil remakes really drilled down into Resident Evil, but that's not entirely true. I'll save the "was Resident Evil ever really horror" rant for another day, but it felt like with 7 onwards there was almost an insecurity there that made the developers feel like they had to overcompensate with very generic modern horror elements to counteract the inherent Resident Evil absurdity. This meant dark hallways with flashlight sections, constantly. I get it. Making brightly lit hallways scary isn't as easy as it used to be. Still, the absolute bullet sponges that are the zombies in this game, mixed with their almost magnetic attraction to the player, just feels like they're desperately trying to make you scared by making things unfair. So, when Resident Evil 4 Remake was announced, a game I really didn't think needed one, I was very worried. The trailer made it seem like they fundamentally misunderstood what made it special, like they were trying to create a sequel to the Remake series and not an actual remake of the original game, if that makes any sense. A darker, more serious tone, hallways where the only thing cutting through the shadows is your dim flashlight, and enemies that look to be designed for jump scares. The opening, which previously stood proudly in the daylight, now insecurely retreats into the darkness, just so you know spooks are ahead. The marketing did not help, but then it came out. It wasn't trying to be more Resident Evil 2. It was 4, and it was good. Really good. I kinda like it more. So maybe I have nothing to worry about. Maybe bad trailers are mischaracterizing the whole of Silent Hill 2 Remake. Maybe. Probably not though. Okay, let's see what other people are saying, and oh no. Yep, it's that time of the Kai's Home for Aspiring Vampires episode. Happens constantly. People are being very normal about Silent Hill 2. This is to be expected to some degree. If you emulate the Resident Evil remakes, you're bound to get the same reaction from weirdos as you got back then. And you know, if you know anything about me, it's probably that I'm a big libcuck beta soy bitch, or whatever they're calling them these days. So maybe I was so blinded by my politics, I didn't even notice that there was such strong political messaging. I was too busy clapping at the major corporation for espousing my beliefs back at me. So I went through all 3 modern remakes and decided to find the absolute wokest, whatever that means, scenes to see if modern gaming truly is a Sweet Baby Inc. DEI nightmare realm. Also, can we just talk about how Sweet Baby Inc. is a terrible name for a company?
We are about to transition.
They think I'm called Mr. X, but it's actually MRX, my non-binary title, and I hope you respect it.
Slay Queen, fuck. Whoa, weird looking kid. You have to leave. What? Why? My dad is unvaccinated. Oh shit, yeah he is. Thanks, man. Holy shit. Leon, why did you want to become an officer? To help people? No, Leon. We're police. We oppress people. Ugh. My top surgery went really well. That's great. My bottom surgery is next week. I can't believe we're both gay and trans. I'm a communist. Hey, weird kid, help me girl power this gate open. Oh, shit, that didn't work. Claire, I'm a bad guy. Because I'm police. I own police, so I'm the baddest guy. Shoot my gun because bad. Hey, weird kid, tie that girl up. Why are you doing this? Because I fucking hate women. Did I mention I'm police? So I'm also bad. Got any drugs? Yes. I love to abuse hard substances. I believe not only should they be legalized, but given to small children too. He's right behind me, isn't he? Yellow? Claire! Did you know I'm a bad guy, Claire? Did you know that? I'm looking for a missing person. Seen him? You know, Leon, I already know what you're here to do. You're scared because you're in a culture you don't understand. You may be just one person, but you're representative of the broader American problem, where you feel the need to intervene in everything, and blast it to smithereens the second it doesn't make sense to you. You believe your way of life is the only true way, and that every other culture is decadent and savage. I promise you that we're a very happy people, just living away from the stresses of the modern world and the iron grip advanced tech has on it. I can assure you Ashley is safe, and is enjoying a lively game of bingo with the locals as we speak. Please reconsider your self-righteous conquest and slaughter of our community, Mr. Kennedy. You're right. Thanks, bro. Besides those very real scenes, what were people complaining about? Well, designs. Character designs. You see, the woke has destroyed all the, great character designs of these classic games. In pretty much all cases, with few exceptions, I prefer Capcom's newer designs. They just feel more natural and fit into the world better, while also generally looking really cool. The one major exception is Claire Redfield, whose design is infinitely worse and is actually more revealing, especially on the supposed classic look. This looks like shit. No, the real complaint started with Resident Evil 3, where Jill Valentine looks, good. Isn't it great that people's faces are considered woke now? She's literally modeled after a real person. Maybe that's not what people care about, although it definitely was. It's her outfit. It isn't fucking stupid anymore. If you're unaware, Jill chose this outfit to wear into the zombie apocalypse. But I know what you might be thinking. Kai, you sneaky bitch. In the remake, the apocalypse is sprung on her instead, meaning it would actually make the most sense here. Well, keep in mind she fell asleep in the midst of a full-on investigation, and this isn't the most unrealistic outfit anyway. Plus, it fits the gross, dirty ruggedness of the remake better. But hey, if you wanna, you can play with the classic outfit too. But oh wait, what's this? Shorts? What? Damn you, political correctness! This is an outrage. I just fucking have to look up the skirts of game protagonists. How the hell am I supposed to enjoy this, survival horror game if I'm not also jorking my Please don't clip that. Please do not. Please don't clip that. Well, after that amazing showcase of impotent rage from a bunch of rational, level-headed adults, Capcom would never make this mistake again. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a fantastic game that captures the spirit of the original while adding its own unique spin, changing a lot of the tedious elements of the original, and overall improving on basically every single character in its story, giving them so much more room to breathe, and linking it all better into the wider Resident Evil narrative. What if the game is actually soulless? Crobecat, or as I first read it, Crobecat, which if you know anything about me means I'm not going to say it any other way, Crobecat make uncommentated compilations that without words can truly show the deplorable state of modern day games. But he's probably most known for Le Funny video where Mario does a big fall and then shitty his pants. Crobecat's whole shtick is essentially new thing bad, old thing good, a form of shallow surface level detail oriented gamer boy slop. Soul v Solus is a dumb 4chan meme that somewhat correctly points out the lack of atmosphere in modern games, but it is severely misplaced in this case. He asks viewers to draw their own conclusions, but also clearly places hand too heavy, weighing the scales. Interestingly, more of Crobecat's personal biases leak into this video in a way that is far more obvious than his usual uncommentated nonsense allows for. For one, he passive-aggressively changed the title after he got backlash on his video. He also has to mislead to get his point across, boosting the original's audio so loud that sometimes it causes actual distortions in areas like Waterhall. Okay, so I wanted to actually check this. I decided to play the original game with headphones on, and guess what? Turns out the game is loud as fuck. Almost too loud. On default settings, which in-game are the only settings, there is a lot of impressive sound design, but also, Jesus Christ, they really want you to know it. It was actually slightly painful to listen to. But still not to the point of distortion. I have played Resident Evil 4 Remake with headphones on and can safely say the sound design is phenomenal on everything. I love the distant chatter of Ganados, the way everything reverbs and echoes, each chunky, weighty footstep, the clicking and muted impact of your guns, howling wind swaying trees and flying leaves, animal sounds and heavy breathing, ominous droning of a castle full of cultists. You also turn down the brightness? It's really hard to see. The video concludes with a montage of all the cut parts of the game with sad music over it, and a bunch of custom camera angles to make everything look cooler and more dynamic, even though of course this isn't what the game actually looks like. Truly a loss. Of all the stupidest, most fucking annoying scenes in the game. You want more Novistador sewer? You want that stupid unfair cage fight and one-hit inexplicable swinging axe room like it's a fucking Zelda dungeon? You want the broken janky hitbox minigun Ganado? the muscle-straining Salazar statue? Little did he know, of course, that a lot of the sillier scenes were being saved for later for another character. Can't fault him too much for that, however, I suppose. From the title and description, we can glean that he's lamented the loss of a very specific thing. You see, as mentioned earlier, the most objective improvement that this game made was characters, and the most bestest objectiver improvement is Ashley Graham. Her design has been improved tenfold while still staying true to the original. She actually looks her fucking age now, and it's not weirdly ambiguous.
She's 20 years old? I swear to God, I thought she was like 16.
But still retains that classic look when she loses her jacket, showing she still has that stupid orange sleeveless turtleneck and plaid skirt. Wait. Fuck! The woke has ruined something. Okay, so to give credit where it's due, I do generally believe that this is a minor stain on an otherwise perfect design. The shorts are significantly better integrated into Jill's design than here. Like, okay, why not have the shorts just be under the skirt? Maybe? That makes sense. Or I don't know, put like a black void or something? Just fucking anything. It isn't this. By the way, taking these photos felt so invasive and she isn't even real. Why does this matter though? Upset at a weird design choice? No. What Monsieur B. Cat is upset about is that he can't look up her skirt anymore. Because woke. This is where the message of the video is laid out plain and clear. The game is soulless because I can't save the ambiguously aged girl I'm here to save. Not only would this not make sense for Leon to do, nor did it make sense back then either, it's frankly fucking annoying. I don't want to be berated by her for looking up. Even if you think it's just a silly joke, Easter egg, whatever the fuck. Looking up in the original Resident Evil is a significantly more deliberate action due to the limited camera which extends to side profile, whatever the fuck this is, the floor, and up. In a game with a modern camera, it would happen accidentally like all the fucking time. It's also just fucking weird. So, this video sucks donkey dick, so I'm sure it got a wealth of good coverage. Oh, fuck me.
Now, on principle, I'm going to defend any real opinion I see on the internet.
Synthetic Man is here to defend real opinions. This is rage bait.
I respect the courage just to disagree with whatever the current NPC hive mind believes in.
That's right. The only real opinions are the ones you have to lie about. Unlike those beta NPCs who do cringe shit like tell the truth.
So obviously he's catering to a certain demographic with his content. And look, I realize you could say the same thing about my channel, but the reality is my viewership reflects my content. He has over 1 million subs, a lot of his videos get in the multiple millions of views. He's clearly much more mainstream. I guess the point of what I'm saying here is Krobcat essentially did exactly what I've done multiple times in the past, which is tackle something that is beloved.
Oh, he's projecting. Oh god. He's a truth warrior, fighting the mainstream narrative, just like this mainstream YouTuber. If you like this popular channel, you should definitely subscribe to me. I'm very cool and based, and I also... It goes on a rant about some YouTubers' tweets on the matter. He complains that all these channels are just saying like, oh, trust me, bro, with the audio boosting. He doesn't provide any evidence. We're just supposed to trust him. He even shuts down people trying to analyze the audio at all. Also tries to discredit the guy by saying he's in his 30s and talking like a zoomer. What? Mr. Man, if that is your name, you're also a fully grown man, and you're online and you parrot 4chan memes.
Set the stage for the entire series, created a wonderful Wakanda-esque utopia, is one of these brown Hylians. Almost literally, we was Kangs and shit.
So just, I don't know, look in the mirror? Of course, then it happens. That thing. He complains about the script despite everything being better, and weirdly complains that Salazar's huge speech is gameplay now instead of a comms call? Why? Yeah, why would you want your two combatants to banter with each other as they fight, mixed with that gorgeous music to create such a memorable moment, when you can just, I don't know, have it be a fucking Discord call or something, who cares? Of course, he then talks about Ashley, and despite the fact that 99% of the script is different, when it's the Horty lines that get cut, it's censorship. The script isn't anywhere close to one-to-one, but that doesn't matter, because these specific lines are gone. The wokes have struck again. The iconic lines that actually did make it in are mostly because nothing else works. That bingo line was because none of the other jokes felt right, so they had to reuse the old line. They just don't make much sense in the remake to be there. They would feel entirely out of character. Luis is a significantly more complicated person this time around, and that development they gave him kinda came at the cost of his original sleaziness. But hey, likeable guy Luis doesn't make creepy comments about Ashley's boobs. Game ruined. Comments talking about how Krobby Cat didn't even use words and still the consumers are pissed. Oh yeah? Because you've never been able to get a message across without using words before? Cool Eshov effect. Sure, Eshov effect does sound cool. Whatever that is. Also, he did use words. He absolutely did, right there, plain text. That's part of the problem. Also, Synthetic is a consumer. He buys and plays all these games. What the fuck? Welcome to the intermission. This is where we just take a brief moment at the halfway point of the video, I hope. I'm very bad at timing this. I'll get like three-fourths of the way through, and then I'm like, shit, I forgot. I completely fucking forgot about the intermission. This is where we like to highlight some fan art, and also I tell you to follow me on Twitter. Please do exactly that. Go follow me on that app, and of course, join the server and all that shit. But that's coming up in a little bit as we get to the ad. But of course, it's time for fan art. I want to thank everybody so much for all the lovely fan art. It always brings a huge smile to my face. You can send it to me on the server for the dedicated channel, or tag me on Twitter. All right. Bye.
Stranger, I got something that might interest you. Have a look. That's right, it's the Kai's Home for Aspiring Vampires community server. Free of charge. Stranger, it's got all sorts of things in it, like fun commands, amazing emotes. Carl, do my requests, please.
What?
Behead my father, Carl. Are you good or evil? Makes no difference to me, mate. It's up to you. With Kai's Home for Aspiring Vampires, can text, call your friends, even send images, videos, and sound.
It hurts so much.
That's not all, stranger. For 5 spinels, you can join the Kai's Home for Aspiring Vampires Patreon and get periodic bonus rewards, and your name said at the end of every single video.
I will get on the rewards proper soon. I explain more at the end of the video.
It would go a long way in keeping the channel going, stranger. So put your money in my pocket and join the Kai's Home for Aspiring Vampire server, stranger.
Why do I do this to myself? So is Silent Hill 2 going down the same path? Well, it isn't even out yet, and yes it is. The recent trailers gave us a look at Maria, who lost everything. Guys, what? What happened? When Ashley was modernized and, quote, censored, they still kept the most iconic aspects. Guys, what is this? This is so boring. It doesn't fit the character at all. So this must be the one people are complaining about most, right? Right? Oh, fucking hell. That's right. This video by SmashJT, do I have to? Is all about how Blooper Team are forcing the trans agenda into everything because it has a girl. JT has just decided based on a screenshot of an unfinished game featuring Angela Orozco that it's shoving trans people down our throats. I should probably rephrase that one.
Why I feel like Silent Hill 2 is a DEI-injected nightmare forcing transgenderism on all of gaming.
JT, do you know what words mean? Also, very funny to go on a rant about, and I quote, cross-dressing and with that fucking twink on your shelf. Also, epic gamer t-shirt, NES controller, shit, awesome. This is the kind of shirt a relative gets you for Christmas as a kid because they know you like games and not much else.
The excitement that once surrounded my anticipation of Silent Hill 2 Remake has quickly turned into a wave of disappointment. Initial concerns about the game's direction have been confirmed, and upon closer inspection, the situation is far worse than I could have ever anticipated. And I know I'm talking a lot about what they did to the design of Angela, but ultimately it's more than that. It's the entire environment. The fog is missing.
JT, they're surrounded by fog. That's why you can't see anything. Also, you were excited for this? That's suspicious. Also, he keeps comparing the lovingly crafted FMVs to real-time game footage. Have you seen what the average Silent Hill 2 cutscene actually looks like? Or did you look up Silent Hill 2 full game movie and get a compilation of FMVs?
Angela now looks drastically different, and not in the way that serves her story or her character development. Instead, the changes feel like it's forced and out of place.
Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. What did he say? So he thinks these changes are actually there to take away from Angela's story. So what is Angela's story? Well, I'm going to give JT the benefit of the doubt and assume he just doesn't know, because that story is a bit from her father and brother. To imply even for a second that a story like this doesn't work because she isn't hot enough anymore is horrible. It is one of the worst things I've seen one of these guys say. They made her look her age. She's 19. It was kinda hard to tell before in the original, especially on that FMV model, but it's clear as day here. Sorry the abuse victim isn't a supermodel for you, JT, you sleazy fuck.
Characters like Maria, who played a significant role in the original's exploration of James Sunderland's psyche, now appears overly polished and devoid of the raw, unsettling qualities that made them memorable in the first place.
Maria's old design is unsettling? Are you petrified of a woman's midriff, JT?
All of these DEI-styled companies and advertising firms stick together. It was classic seeing black girl gamers chime in on the official PlayStation tweet advertising Silent Hill 2, saying that they can't wait for the game because, of course, they want to promote a game that had DEI injected in it. It's kind of funny. I had people being like, black girl gamers didn't have anything to do with this game. Why do you even point them out? It's like, you need to connect the dots. Put lines from one to the other. They're all protecting each other behind the scenes. It's pretty obvious what's going on right now.
He constructs this narrative, a grand conspiracy where disparate groups are working together to inject woke into your bloodstream via something, alright. So who is this JT guy? Also, wait, hold on, wait, sorry.
That dives deep into the themes of guilt, grief, and redemption.
Redemption? Oh man, I thought they made him James Kennedy. But apparently he's actually Arthur Sunderland, infamous outlaw seeking redemption at the end of his life.
Well, I got depression, sister, and amnesia. Got it from killing my wife. I guess I'm afraid, because Pyramid Head's about to throw me off a building.
So who is Sex TV, or whatever this guy's name was? What was it again? Well, he's a man single-handedly fighting back against the onslaught of games journalists. He does so by being a games journalist. His catalogue is filled to the brim with him being under attack by everyone and their SJW grandmother, here to silence his free speech. He particularly has an issue with Kotaku. A big one. A huge one. Remember when I hinted at the fact that he doesn't play these fucking games? Nowhere is that clearer than in his epic takedown of Kotaku on Paper Mario. He just lies. He takes these random fucking tweets as facts because his hate boner for Kotaku is that strong. He can't even make a video without mentioning his enemies, even though they're not involved.
This time, shockingly, not written by good friend of the channel, Alyssa Mercante.
Could you imagine if every video of mine started with like, I can't believe this cringe wasn't posted by Hero Hey? That would be so fucking annoying. He created a fucking petition to take down Kotaku. A petition! That will really show that fucking company I am a passionate gamer, which is why I don't play the games I talk about confidently. Alyssa openly antagonizes white-skinned people and people of European descent. Fire her! Kotaku needs to go. It should have been dismantled after Jason Schreier left for Bloomberg. Its clientele of journalists all hate games and gamers, so it's apparent that it just needs to be shuttered. Games are for entertainment, not personal political agendas. Agendas what, Phil? Agendas what?
Kotaku celebrates penis physics and demands women not be sexy. They are activists, not journalists.
Enough of these woke tards and their propaganda. Wait, hold on. Ben Sharp? Benjamin! You can't hide under such a shit pseudonym. Benny boy, get out here.
I am so sick of the hypocrisy and BS. It's time to get gaming back and make it about video games again. No more propaganda.
Objective game journalism should exist. Represent all voices, not just leftists.
And the people who work in there, especially Alyssa Mercante, are doing nothing more than to write bullshit articles that send a political agenda. So yeah, Let's put an end to Kotaku.
These people need to be shut down for good. Imagine being a gaming news site and not even doing that right. The Kotaku does not represent the core player base of games and actively fights against them, attempting to silence their voices whenever they express dissent or different opinions that go against the, quote, modern agenda. We don't want DEI, ESG or their defenders infesting our games. That means black people, they're talking about black people. We want the pure, unadulterated vision of the artists, uncensored, full stop. Unless that artist wants to include a trans person, of course.
I will never understand wanting to support a company such as Kotaku and someone like Alyssa, who neither respects the customers they're writing for or the hobby that they're writing about. I just will never understand working for a hobby you hate either.
Game journalists are to report and review games. Leave the politics to politicians. Why be called a game journalist when writing rants about the political environment instead of games?
What? If I want to read unhinged political opinions, I would read Kotaku. As a mentally stable person who just wants to play a game in the evening, in his free time, I never read it. Okay, that's fine. Why do you need it shut down, Tom? You don't have to read the articles, they don't control games, they're underpaid journalists, Tom. Kotaku is a company full of unprofessional narcissists who hate the customer. Garbage people with garbage ideas making garbage content. And then they turn around and tell us we are the ones that need a shower. Nathan is not stinky. Kotaku are the stinky ones. These mentally ill people won't stop until they've cancelled everyone who doesn't conform to their satanic ideology. They're cultists, not journalists, and we got to exorcise them from the industry if we want to save our culture from the corruption they spread. We must stop woke degeneration once and for all. We must eradicate this disease. Stop the globalist criminal agenda. This goes way beyond gaming. Sean chimes in again to say game journals deserve to live under a bridge.
I am giving my support for this because for too long we have allowed these so-called activists at Kotaku whom claim to be games journalists but are in fact frauds and cyber terrorists whom have been allowed to get away with harassment, intimidation tactics, stalking, threats, and so much more, and it's time to put an end to these seething little shits once and for all.
I'm sick and tired of gaming being ruined by ideological bullshit, and I'm tired of having to spend not just an absurd initial price, but absurd microtransactions too. What the fuck do you think Kotaku has to do with that? Nothing. It's in boardrooms, man. I'm sick of having worse and worse video games every time because companies need to pander to minorities that don't even play games. God, that is horrible. That's right. Gay people don't play games. Black people don't play games. It's a white guy thing only. Wait, hold on. JT used to be a massive supporter of the Intellivision Amico.
Welcome to another episode of SmashJT. In this episode, I sit in a Ferrari and go for a ride with the one and only Tommy Tallarico.
If you don't know why that's the funniest sentence ever said, then I'll just leave it at. Okay, so while I was recording, I watched a bit more of his videos and discovered something not great. So JT has this website where he does all his game journalism, but it's also where he has this thing called Kotaku Detected, and the subtitle alone should be a little bit scary. List of folks who work, have worked, or are friends with Kotaku and beyond. This is a list of people who have worked for Kotaku, their friends, people who just support them, I guess, people who have been seen with them, guilt by association. It is a giant fucking list of countless fucking people. Holy shit. Like, literally even previously worked at Kotaku is listed here. You can't even not have the fucking job anymore. Literally, yeah, just friends of Kotaku. FOKU is which is hilarious, by the way, JT. Good job on that one. Is a section dedicated to those who have not ever worked at Kotaku or on any game in particular, but have displayed resentment towards Kotaku detected existing and or attempted to defend any of the journalists listed therein. Full fucking names? Pictures? What the fuck? He says it's not a targeted harassment list, but all he fucking does on his YouTube channel is go after these people and then make a list detailing their information and supposed wrongdoings from his biased fucking side. What is that if not a targeted harassment list? It is very clear to me that SmashJT is mentally unwell. This is not the behavior of a normal person, and I almost feel bad for covering it at all because it feels like I'm punching down against someone who is clearly not all together. These are just employees at a company now. People who have just worked at Sweet Baby Inc. or people who is just like trans people. This is fucking insane. This is not normal. This is putting people's pictures up and falsely saying that they encourage grooming. This is not okay. And what it is a targeted harassment list. There is no other word that could possibly describe this. This is insane. Scrolling through this list made me feel really weird. I just don't understand why this is happening. Jesus Christ. It wasn't always like this. JT started out pretty innocent there, trying to emulate the success of other Nintendo-focused gaming YouTubers of the time. You could really see his passion for the medium. He would talk about Switch news, E3, top 10 lists, and even opened up about his struggles with depression and the disappointment with his then stagnant YouTube channel. It would take a while for him to truly corrupt himself. For Hay, it was the whole situation with Vic, and for JT it appears to be pro-Jared. This is genuinely disheartening to see someone devolve like this. To think about where we started and where we are. Video is so incomprehensible it's almost concerning. This form of extreme conspiratorial thinking. Basically every day, a man named Kai Smalej would go to Bed Bath & Beyond and GameStop to try to prove his conspiracy that there would be a huge merger and that those who invested in the dying companies would finally get their payout. At one point going into a GameStop and speaking to a worker who confusedly said,
"Wow."
Into a bigger company.
I don't even know how that works because GameStop sells games.
This is the same sort of unhinged thinking, so detached from reality. Over a year ago now, I made a video about Zelda Discourse, and in it, Synthetic Man, when responding to criticism of his video, went on the strangest rant I had ever seen. In response to sort of critical comments that were mostly jokes, Synthetic Man went on a rant about Satanism, vaccines, trans people, fucking autism. Out of frankly nowhere. These people have audiences and that's just odd. Even if they're just trolling, playing a character, it kinda doesn't matter, does it? As the audience eats it up anyway. These people are lost in a fog, but instead of letting their fear push them forward, they stand still and try to fight it off. Try to end the monster in their heads. The artificial rainbow-coloured boogeyman. This is fear. JT truly puts the phobia in transphobia when he is clearly so perturbed by a character model of a 19-year-old girl that doesn't look like a supermodel that he creates a grand conspiracy. The short message strongly emulates Silent Hill 2, with a similar twist, theme and monster, but what it says directly is that no matter how many tries it takes, you can learn and grow. You learn to live and develop past your flaws. They don't disappear, those scars will remain, but your life doesn't have to stay that way. You can be pulled out of the fog and become something greater. I hope maybe one day these people will reflect a little bit, wonder if this is truly what they want their life to be, and maybe one day we'll once again see a jovial JT, excited to share his love of his favourite medium. I've been Kai from Kai's Home for Aspiring Vampires. I would just like to thank patrons Hyperwaffles, It's June and Gamma Freya for their continued support, even if I haven't been exactly the best at keeping up with Patreon stuff. I've been extremely busy and in and out of some tough situations, but I promise to, eventually get back on that shit proper. I'm very sorry about the wait until now. But now that I've got this out, I will, have more time for that kind of thing. Thank you all for watching, and Jesus Christ, it was a bit heavier than I thought it was going to be. That always happens. If you want to be a Kai's Home, if you want to be an aspiring vampire for Kai's Home, you gotta get used to that shit where it starts off so light and fun, and then you're like, oh Jesus Christ, what the fuck just happened? If you want to watch something, you should watch this video. It's very good. Or you could watch one the algorithms picked out for you. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think their algorithm's that great for this sort of thing.